Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever walked onto a car dealership lot and instantly felt a massive wave of panic wash over you, thanks to all that weird jargon, endless spec sheets, and high-pressure sales tactics, trust me, you are absolutely in the right place. Maybe you've even thought about just riding a bike everywhere forever just to avoid the hassle. But today, we're going to completely transform how you handle this. This explainer is basically your ultimate buyer's roadmap. We're cutting right through all the noise to give you the exact tools you need before making one of the absolute biggest financial decisions of your life.
So let's talk about those classic, agonizing questions that keep buyers tossing and turning at night. Is 100,000 kilometers actually a lot for a modern engine? Or, should you take that crazy depreciation hit on a brand new car? Or risk the unknown baggage of buying used? Why does a luxury car drop in value so incredibly fast? Today, we're not just answering those questions, we're actually upgrading your whole mindset. By the time we wrap this up, you're going to graduate from a stressed-out shopper to what we like to call a pro evaluator.
Here is exactly how we're going to break this down. First, the evaluator's mindset. Then, choosing your car type. Third, brands for specific purposes. Number 4, the hidden ownership costs. And finally, navigating the buying process.
Okay, let's jump right into step 1, the evaluator mindset.
Moving on to part 2, choosing your car type. So before you even start looking at a specific brand, you really have to curate your options. And honestly, you don't need to be a walking encyclopedia of every car type out there. You just need to know what solves your actual daily problems, right? If your main goal is getting the absolute best bang for your buck, like solid engineering and great features without emptying your bank account, you'll want to zero in on brands like Mazda, Skoda, or Kia. But say your priority is just bulletproof reliability. You want a car that's going to sail way past that 100,000 kilometer mark with zero drama. Then you're looking at Toyota, Honda, or Lexus. See what we're doing here? We're mapping these brands directly to what your wallet actually cares about. Which brings us perfectly to part 3, brands for specific purposes. Think of brands like tools in a giant toolbox. Every famous car company was created to solve a very specific problem. If you're all about weekend adventures and rock crawling, you're grabbing a Jeep or a Land Rover. If you're someone who puts safety above literally everything else, Volvo and Subaru are the pioneers there. Need a solid, efficient commuter for the daily grind? Hyundai and Honda absolutely own that space. And if you're tackling mountain roads or heavy snow, you're going to want the legendary all-wheel drive systems from Subaru. The takeaway here, don't buy a rugged adventure rig for a boring highway commute. Always match the tool to the task.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Section 4. The hidden ownership costs.
Let's talk about tires, because they are literally the only thing connecting your car to the road. Have you ever noticed that crazy cryptic code on the side of a tire? Let's decode it. Take 225/55R17. The 225 is just the tire's width in millimeters. 55 is the aspect ratio, basically how tall that sidewall is. R just means it's a radial tire, and 17 is your wheel diameter in inches. Now, why does a pro evaluator even care about this? Because those massive, awesome-looking wheels might look super cool on the lot, but they are incredibly expensive to replace. Knowing these numbers helps you forecast what your maintenance budget is actually going to look like.
But wait, the tire deep dive doesn't stop there. Sure, you've got to check tread wear, traction ratings, load index, speed rating, but you know what the absolute most critical factor is? The manufacturing date. It's hidden right there inside the DOT number. Rubber degrades over time, even if the tread looks totally fine. If you're buying a used car and those tires are, say, 6 years old, that's a major safety hazard. Plus, you're going to be on the hook for a massive replacement bill the second you drive it home. Always check the date to save your wallet from a very bad first day.
Okay, next up on our hidden cost list is mileage. Now, simply put, mileage is just the distance you travel per unit of fuel, whether you're measuring in kilometers per liter or miles per gallon. It sounds super basic, but really grasping this is crucial. High mileage means lower daily fuel costs, which directly frees up your monthly budget. But here is the huge catch that trips up so many buyers. Mileage isn't just some magic static number printed on a window sticker. It's wildly dynamic. It changes completely based on the real world. Your driving style, sitting in brutal stop-and-go traffic, throwing extra weight in the trunk, driving on low tire pressure, engine wear and tear, and even the quality of the fuel you use, all of that changes the math. When you're budgeting for a car, calculate it based on your actual, real-life driving conditions, not the perfect Fantasyland numbers from a marketing brochure. The last major hidden cost factor is safety. And safety protects two things, your life and, frankly, your bank account.
It really breaks down into two camps. First, you have passive safety. Think crumple zones and airbags, the structural stuff designed to save you if a crash happens. Then, you've got active safety, or ADAS. These are your smart electronics, lane assist, blind spot monitoring, emergency braking. These exist to stop the crash from happening in the first place. Always look up a car's crash ratings from places like NCCAP or IIH. A cheap car that skimps on safety is going to cost you way more in insurance premiums and medical risks down the road.
Finally, Section 5. Navigating the buying process.
This is where it all goes down, and honestly, where buyers make their biggest blunders. The ultimate showdown, new versus used. If you buy new, especially a luxury brand, you are taking a massive financial hit the literal second you drive off the lot. Luxury cars depreciate incredibly fast. On the flip side, buying used saves you that initial cash, but introduces hidden risks. So what's the ultimate equalizer? Service history. A used car with a meticulous, fully documented service history is almost always a smarter financial move than buying brand new. But you absolutely have to know what red flags to watch out for. Listen closely, because when you're buying used, there are absolute, non-negotiable deal breakers. Odometer fraud, where they illegally roll back the miles to trick you. Flood damage, which basically rots a car's electronics from the inside out and leaves it smelling like a swamp. Cars that have been in major accidents and have bent frames that will literally never drive straight again. And rust. Rust is the absolute cancer of the automotive world. If you spot even a single one of these, I don't care how amazing the price is, you shut the door and you walk away immediately. No exceptions.
So, let's pull all this together into a real, actionable plan. Here is the exact 4-step process a pro evaluator uses. Step 1, always check the VIN number against a database to make sure the history is perfectly clean. Step 2, verify that service history. Look for the boring but essential stuff, like regular oil changes and timing belt swaps. Step 3, do a physical inspection for those hidden damages and rust spots we just talked about. And finally, step 4, estimate the fair value based on the car's actual condition, not whatever arbitrary number the seller is asking for. You only sign the paperwork when all 4 of these steps check out perfectly.
It all boils down to this philosophy. Recommend a vehicle based on someone's actual needs, rather than just its brand. That is the core of the professional evaluator mindset. It really doesn't matter if the badge on the grille is some famous luxury icon or just a basic economy car. What matters is the engineering underneath, the maintenance history, the specific job it was built to do, and how well it fits into your daily life. Honest utility and condition will always beat out a flashy nameplate.
Which leaves us with this final, critical thought to chew on before you head out to your next test drive. Ask yourself, are you just buying a brand? Are you trying to purchase a status symbol? Or are you buying the vehicle you actually need? Because once you strip away the slick marketing, the confusing jargon, and those bright showroom lights, a car is just a machine. And now, you've got the evaluator mindset to see right through all the fluff to the mechanics that actually matter. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer. Use this roadmap wisely, and hey, happy evaluating!